Hello everyone, my name is Jeremy Seth and I'm here today to talk to you about building highly scalable apps with Okta. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Jeremy Seth. I'm a senior product marketing manager here at Okta and I focus on customer identity. So to talk to you about this topic of building highly scalable apps, I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you the story of Major League Baseball, MLB, who have like tens of millions of fans interacting with their digital properties every year. And when they came to us in 2018, they wanted to modernize MLB.com. And they were facing a similar challenge, which is like building an app that could scale, right? At the very high level, there were like two main requirements. Like they needed to launch this app for the 2019 season opening day, which has a very tight timeline. And the second challenge was the scale, right? They had tens of millions of fans and they had to solve for this. If we go a level deeper, they were looking at 5 different challenges. So the first one is that, of course, we're talking about fans who are coming to their digital properties on their phone, on their tablet, on their desktop. So they had to deliver a frictionless, but also secure omni-channel fan experience. Second, they had to make a decision because there's an opportunity cost of allocating like scarce, expensive in-house developers to building identity for this app. Third, of course, it's sports. It's a live product, with the season all year long, plus like, free agency during the off season. So there are massive surges in traffic all year long, whenever there's a game, whenever there's a home run. And clearly, this is very challenging for them in terms of scalability. Fourth, they had to deliver this with a very hard deadline that obviously cannot be pushed. So it was the opening day of the 2019 season. And finally, they want all of this forever. And by that, I mean that, yes, it's one thing to build an app that, that could scale on time for the opening day, and that was their main requirement. But they also wanted to make sure that whatever they were building could still be ready for the years to come and could handle higher volumes of scale if needed, and could be improved, could become even more secure and more frictionless as the years go by. So these 5 challenges that MLB facing whenever they came to us, are actually very common challenges when people need to build highly scalable apps. Right? So when organizations try to do this, they are really facing 5 different challenges. And I'm going to go through each of one of those in this first section of this presentation. So the first one is the trade-off between customer experience and security. So if we take a step back, it is really the age of the consumer right now, right? As an end user like you and me, really what we want is to have access to information, to services, whenever I want it, wherever I am in the world, whether it's my house right now, or if I'm on vacation or anywhere, right? And on whichever device that I'm closest to. It can be my phone, it can be my desktop, it can be my tablet, whatever. I want it whenever I want, wherever I am, on whichever device I'm closest to. And I also expect and I demand a personalized experience, right? I want you to, in a way, read my mind. And if you do a great job at providing me a personal experience, I will definitely transact with you. I will buy things from you. I will buy services. I will buy products. And I will even recommend you to my friends, right? However, if I cannot trust you, if you violate my security or my privacy, I will never use you again. And actually, I will definitely tell my friends not to use you, right? So it's not only what we're saying here at Okta, but it's really what the data are validating, right? So Gartner made a study that really states that 2/3 of the marketers says that their companies compete mostly on the basis of customer experience, not their core product, not what they offer, but really the customer experience, right? And then if you deliver a great customer experience, then customers will spend more with you, much more than if you provide a bad experience. And this is demonstrated by this data of 100 of HBR, Harvard Business Review, where customers with the best experiences spend 140% more than those with the worst experiences. And third, it's one example among many, but this example of Expedia highlights the fact that customer experience, and even at the registration page, right, a simple field on the registration page has a huge impact, not only on the customer experience, but also in terms of financials. And according to an article that you can find on ZDNet, Expedia lost 12 million just because they added a simple field that made like the organization question, the end users question to what extent it was the right registration page. So you want, as an organization, to provide a seamless, a frictionless customer experience. But this flexible access leads to more security risk, right? Now you're not only looking at customers that you know who are joining your portal, who are accessing your portal. You're looking at different devices, different ways to access your information. And obviously, this is very difficult to secure. So really, there's a trade-off. Like you want to, for instance, provide security by adding multi-factors authentication, like maybe SMS, for instance. But obviously, it brings friction to the customer experience. And at the same time, you're competing on the basis of customer experience. So how do you choose for security or customer experience? So this is one of the challenge. And for MLB, I wanted to provide a bit more color on their use case. And this is a quote from Neil Boland, the CISO of MLB, who really said that the digital experience for them was a crucial aspect to fan engagement, to fan satisfaction, which is really like, in a way, their core business, right? They want to make sure that they provide a frictionless, a great customer experience to all their fans. And in terms of devices, Neil was really saying that they come to MLB, to the digital properties over the web or streaming via MLB TV or at the ballpark with the ballpark app. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge is developer supply. Because, at first, when you look at the login page, it might seem simple, but what's behind this box is actually very complicated. And building authentication is hard. Like you can see different examples on this slide, like, account recovery, setting up like, password recovery process, verifying the email address, setting up social authentication. This is hard, and it does require developers, right? But developers are becoming one of the world's most scarce resource. It's actually demonstrated by the data once again, right? There's a shortage of developers, especially the ones who have a good security training. And this is one of the top threats that C-level executives have highlighted in this study from Stripe, right? The fact that there's not enough developers, and on top of that, the developers aren't good at, building security code, secure code. The problem with that is that a custom code, right? This is where like 93% of the app vulnerabilities come from, right? So in order to build your apps, you need developers, but you need also these apps to be secure, and there's not enough developers and not enough that are good at securing code. On top of that, even if you find a developer that is good at writing secure custom code, the question becomes, is it the best use of his or her time, right? So according to the same study from Stripe, 42% of the time of the developers is being spent debugging and maintaining legacy and bad code. That's like 2 out of 5 working days, right? This is a massive impact. This is very expensive for your business since those developers are very scarce and expensive. So for MLB, they were facing similar challenge, right? And they have a very strong and talented developer population, but what they really wanted to do is they wanted them to focus on the business of baseball. And if we think about like MLB, obviously, if you're a developer and you join MLB, it's because you're passionate about baseball, right? Of course, you are good at building application and building, secure code, but you are a fan first and foremost, right? So this is not how they want to spend their time when they join MLB. Third, reliability at scale. This is the third challenge when it comes to building highly scalable apps. So I think it's important to take a step back and really understand why a reliable service matters. Okay, it matters for customer experience. It matters in terms of financials, and these are like some rather fun examples, like MLB. So, for instance, you can see that it was very difficult to get tickets for the Avengers Endgame movie because all the websites were down at some point. It was difficult to log in into Disney Plus when they launched last year on the first day because there were login issues. J.Crew is actually estimated to have lost $700,000 during Black Friday because their website was crashing. And then Hulu live service had actually issues just before the game. So a reliable service matters not only for customer experience, but also in terms of financial reasons, but it really does matter. And sometimes, unfortunately, it has more like dramatic consequences. So unfortunately, and nowadays we live in this COVID world, and it has impacted many people who lost their job. And unfortunately, because of the reality of the service or unreliability in this case, it's been very difficult for some people to log in into the unemployment websites across the US and especially in Florida, where there is this article. For MLB, they're looking really at like a live product, right? That needs to be delivered 24/7, 365, right? And at a level, so it needs to be reliable all year long, all the time. And on top of that, it needs to be reliable at a massive level of scale, which is like tens and tens of millions of fans. Fourth challenge is time to market. Building identity is very complex. We talked about it, and it does take a lot of time. So here are some examples. For instance, if we estimate that it takes a month to, for instance, integrate with another IDP, right? 2 months to set up voice or SMS multi-factor authentication, right? So it can take up to 3 years to really build the right customer identity, experience for your end users, right? And so you have usually very tight timelines, right? And that you cannot push, right? Otherwise, the consequences are pretty important, either in terms of customer experience because people are expecting something, or in terms of financials because you actually have to deliver, or maybe even legal reasons. So it's a bit cliche, but for MLB, obviously we're talking about a very high profile launch, which was the opening day of the 2019 season. And failure was not an option. You cannot push the opening day of the MLB season. You cannot be down on the first day. Otherwise, you make the headlines, and unfortunately not in a good way. And finally, a solution, a highly scalable app needs to be future-proof, right? We talked about it a bit, but consumer expectations are very high, but on top of that, consumer behaviors are changing faster than ever, right? A lot of industries are being disrupted, for instance, in terms of transportation, in terms of healthcare, education. This is all before COVID, but I wanted here to share some example of what has happened, and how it has impacted some business recently, some industries. So Instacart, which offers online grocery and delivery of grocery, had to face a 500% jump in order volume, not overnight, but almost. They also had decided to expand their business because consumer behaviors were changing, and they were interested in having access to other types of products. And then, of course, the restaurant industry had to shift from offering meals in the restaurants to delivery. It impacts every industry. So these are headlines about the rise of telemedicine and also online learning. So really, it's changing everywhere. But on top of that, there are privacy regulations that are becoming more and more common because customers have higher expectations in terms of privacy and security, right? So you probably heard about GDPR in Europe, but there's also CCPA in California. And once again, there's going to be more and more regulations coming up, and you want your solution to be ready for this and to keep on innovating, to keep on being compliant with the different regulations. So if we recap, these are the 5 challenges that you have to face when you try to build a highly scalable app, right? The trade-off between customer experience and security, facing the developer supplies, the fact that there's not enough developers who have a security background and the associated opportunity cost. You need to provide a reliable service at scale. You need to be fast at delivering your app, at launching your app to the market, taking your app to the market, and your solution needs to be future-proof. The great thing is that Okta can help you. And I'm gonna go through these 5 points, the 5 ways Okta can help you in this next section of this presentation. So the first one is that we can help you deliver seamless and secure customer experiences. Right? So the way we do this is that we offer a customer identity and access management as a microservice, where you can embed these key SIAM capabilities into your apps, whether it's like mobile apps or websites or portals. So we can embed authentication, authorization, and user management into your apps directly. This way, you can offer a frictionless logging experience. It can be on the B2C side with social authentication, for instance, or you can do what we call like bring your own identity and do more like identity discovery, so that you can match like the way end users will be authenticated based on who they are and where they come from. And so, for instance, in the B2B world, you can bring your own identity, your own email address from your organization, and try to access another portal without any friction. We also offer out-of-the-box solutions, so like the widget where you can customize a registration. So here's a simple example. So if we were to do it for MLB, you see like the generic version on the left, and you can brand it very quickly on the right side with your logo, for instance. And this helps you take your application to market very quickly and provide a frictionless experience. You can also set up like more innovative solutions. And for instance, you can use progressive profiling, which will help you reduce user drop-off. So the way it works is that, when customers come, for instance, to your website and they're just browsing through your website, you don't want to introduce any friction at this point, right? What you might want to do, though, is ask them for their email address in case they're interested in a promotion, right? So this is very little friction. You're not asking for like very detailed information like the mailing address or the credit card information. You're just asking for something very small, very easy, and you explain why, right? But you can start building the profile of the end user at this point, right? And then after that, when they want to engage more, for instance, if they did click on a promotion or if they want to transact, then you can ask more information. So you can build your user profile, right? Collect all the identity information along the way, so that you can really reduce the churn, the drop off all along the user and the customer lifecycle. So this is how we can help you provide like seamless and secure customer experiences. The second way we can help you is that we really increase developer efficiency so that your developers can focus on the core business. So we really make developers more efficient because we do believe strongly that companies need to better leverage the engineers that they already have. The way we do it is we do it through two main ways. First, we improve developer velocity. And by that, we mean that we want to make your developers code faster so that you can take your applications to market faster. So we provide a big set of developer tools, and I'm going to share a bit more in the next slide, but we provide API, SDKs. You already heard about the out-of-the-box widget. And obviously, because we keep on building it all the time and innovating, we future-proof your identity solution. Second, we help you optimize your developer resources, right? Because we offer identity as a microservice, you can re-offload identity to Okta so that you don't have to spend like up to 3 years to build it yourself. And also, and I think this is critical, we offer centralized management of identity, right? So that your security and your IT admin teams, for instance, and your developers, everybody has the ability to manage these security policies without the need for code, right? So your developers don't need to focus on that, don't need to build this, but also don't need to focus on that, so that they can focus once again on their core business, on your core business. So the way we do all of this is through a great developer experience, simple and frictionless. The first kind of pillar is like the tools, the developer tools. So we provide like different sets of tools. So you can use our APIs if you really want to customize everything at a very deep level. But we also offer SDKs that help you, still optimize, but be faster at it. And then finally, if you want, you can use our out-of-the-box, widgets that you can kind of configure it. But of course, it's not going to be like as customizable as with the APIs. However, it's going to be very fast. And once again, it allows your developers to focus on your core business instead of building all of this. Why are SDKs important? Because if you want to do it yourself, we talked about like up to 3 years, but if you want to set up like a more simpler, if you have to match simpler requirements, it can take you like from 6 months to 1 year. If you do it with our APIs, right, you really want to customize, it can take you weeks, so much less. But with SDKs, it's going to take you hours because you can benefit from everything that is already pre-built. So once again, it goes back to improving like developer velocity and improving like the efficiency of your developers overall. Third one is documentation. So we really believe that a great developer experience starts with great documentation. And so we have a very comprehensive website, developer.okta.com, that I would encourage you to look at. And on the website, you can see guides across use cases, languages, and frameworks that offer like step-by-step configuration and customization path, so that you can really like set up authentication, authorization, and user management within minutes into your apps. And finally, we provide a great experience through integrations, right? We don't want you to have to build with custom code integrations between Okta and the rest of your tech stack. We really believe that customer identity is at the center of your tech stack. And here you can see some integrations that we provide, but our Okta integration networks offer thousands of pre-built integrations that will once again help your devs build faster and focus on your core business. You can also extend the Okta platform with Okta hooks that will be triggered by identity events, and so that really allows you to customize identity flows to another level. Third, the third way we can help you is that we help you provide a reliable service at scale. And we just announced that we took our SLA to another level. So now we're providing 99.99% SLA. Actually, historically, we delivered even more than that in 2018 and 2019. But really, that should give you confidence in the fact that we provide a reliable service. But we do provide it at scale because we have a proven, trusted infrastructure that can support now up to 500,000 authentications per minute. This is really based on like more than a decade of working with a very broad range of customers, more like several thousands of customers, really optimizing performance with them across all their use cases. So we've learned a lot, and thanks to that, we've been able to optimize our infrastructure so that we can support all of this. And this is something that is already used not only, of course, by MLB, but also by other customers like Albertson or Cengage. Cengage, for instance, is an online learning platform that sees like up to 250,000 login per minute on Sunday evenings when students access the platform in order to do their homework. Fourth, you want to partner with an industry leader like us, who is trusted by more than 8,000 organizations worldwide. It's not only us saying it, but it's really like proven by the analyst reports. So we are the leader across the two like main analyst reports. So the Forrester Wave on the left and the Gartner Magic Quadrant on the right. And those are from 2019. So clearly very, very recent. And here you can see on this slide that we have like, customers across every industry. And so this is really what allows us to feel very confident about helping you have a reliable service at scale, but also deploying successfully your solutions because this is the way we want to partner with our customers. And this is what we've done with more than 8,000 customers worldwide. And finally, this is our core business, identity and access management, right? So we innovate all the time. We have an amazing team of experts with a proven track record. And the great thing is that thanks to all our customers, we have gathered, in order to kind of make them successful, we had to match requirements from very security sensitive industries, right? So we had to keep on innovating and scale our service, for instance. We had to get some certifications in these security sensitive industries. And we did this for some of our biggest customers, but the benefits are delivered to all customers, right? So then it attracts other customers who are interested in Okta, and then we have to match other requirements. So there's really this like network effect that allows us to keep on innovating, and that this is an innovation that we can bring to you. And this is something that is demonstrated by all the certifications that we already have, like HIPAA for the healthcare industry, or GDPR in Europe, for instance, or FedRAMP for the public sector. So this is really the way we can help you across these 5 different kind of like pillars. So now I would like to come back to the original story of MLB, right? So they, like you, they were facing some challenges. They wanted to build a highly scalable app for the tens of millions of fans. And they decided to partner with Okta, to choose Okta for what they call the next evolution of MLB.com. The very interesting part of MLB is that they had built identity in-house themselves in the past, and they had actually been very successful at it. So they had created this division called Baseball Advanced Media, BAM, that was for a streaming service at the time. And they were so good that they were spun off, and that actually attracted outside clients like HBO. So if you think about like Game of Thrones, when people rush to see the episode on HBO, all the identity, all the login were powered by this division. It was so successful that it was acquired by Disney. And so for instance, if you think about Disney Plus, this is the same team behind it. But as a result of like the acquisition, MLB was left to like decide, okay, do we rebuild this in-house, right? Do we do this again, or do we partner with an external vendor? And they decided to partner with Okta instead of building in-house because of like 3 main reasons. So the first one, as I mentioned before, like they didn't want to have their developers, as talented as they were, to focus on building identity. They wanted them to focus on the business of baseball, right? Second, we had built trust with them, and they realized that we had the same vision of identity because they were already a workforce identity customers. So they were already using Okta to power identity for their employees. And finally, they saw our track record. They saw that we had 8,000 customers, right? And so they felt very confident that we would be able to launch their application on time for the opening day of the 2019 season. So they chose us to deliver a modern experience, take it to market as quickly as possible, and to deliver a reliable service at scale. I wanted to share now, a bit more details about the actual deployment. Really, I want to tell you the story of what happened. So we did a seamless onboarding of their tens of millions of fans profile right into Okta, and we did it in a secure manner and up to 10,000 user creations per minute. So talk about scale, but even more so, they wanted to make sure that obviously on opening day there would not be any issue, that the system would be reliable even under these peak conditions. So we did a lot of performance testing with them. Our engineering teams partner all along, and so they tested up to 138,000 authorization tokens per minute, which help make sure that everything runs smoothly on opening day. And finally, obviously we did deliver on time, and it took only 9 months from the purchase decision through the deployment. And this was achieved through a close partnership throughout the engagement. It's a very short timeline if you really look at this kind of enterprise grade deployment. But obviously, if we were to partner with you and if you were to have I would say like simpler requirements, then it would definitely not take 9 months. It could be much shorter, obviously. So it was a very successful opening day. We handled the volume with high performance. You can see the volume on the right. And we help provide a seamless omni-channel customer experience across all the devices, right? So either on the app, tablet, desktop, or even on TV. So like the last thing I want to say on this like story, this great story of MLB is that overall, you know, we want to partner with you. We partner with our customers who really care about their success. This is, you know, one of our core value. And, you know, Neil Boland, so the CISO of MLB, was on stage at our annual conference, Octane, in 2019 with our CEO and said this great quote, which was that the Okta team might as well have had MLB.com email addresses because they really function as if they were on his team. And I think that's a great testimony of the kind of partnership that we want to have with organizations worldwide when they choose us. If you want to learn more about the customer journey of Okta, you can check you know, the video on YouTube, or you can go to the Okta website, okta.com/customers MLB Major League Baseball. So hopefully this was useful for you to understand you know, the challenges of building highly scalable apps and how can Okta help you building those highly scalable apps. We have a lot of experience and we would love to partner with you. Thank you very much.